Hey guys, this is DFD, aka Dark Frozen Depths, back with another little pre-event discussion video. Now, if you remember, this is a while back. I actually did some stuff on here as well from Harem Battle Club. Well, I'm going back to doing that because it looks like this has been organized a lot better now. So it actually has some interesting stuff right there. I'm still going to the DMM site though too to show full details. And even after I'm done discussing this, you might want to stick around because there's something very, very good after it. But anyways, now this one is actually going to be a light-based enemy, so your darkness team is going to have advantage. But even if you're not using darkness, you still shouldn't have a disadvantage by doing less, so you can more or less get away with any team. Me personally, I'm going to use my light team, especially, like I said, you'll see later. But anyways, this one's going to be interesting because there's it's another raid event by the looks of it. So you're going to end up having to deal with the entry item, whatever it is this time around, and then building up your divine and double souls. So newer players definitely take advantage of this because it's a lot easier than the Advent where you're on your own. But anyways, starting this off, when you're dealing with Expert and Ragnarok, you have to deal with attack debuffs, attack buffs on the enemy, and then you're gonna end up having to deal with maybe your burst gauge going down as well. So you have to keep that in mind. This one's going to end up doing quite a few things, in fact. It's going to attack debuff yourself, and then combo rate debuff yourself as well, while upping its own combo rate. And then on top of that, there's a like actually looks like a few special triggers now. I'm really looking at this, so I don't know. But it's also talking about dealing damage to everybody and applying an attack debuff while applying an attack buff to itself. Like I said, lots of attack buffs and debuffs. The Raging Overdrive will pretty much hit you randomly and then give herself an attack buff. Maybe it's a good thing I'm going with my light team. I got characters that can remove that stuff. And then the normal one's going to hit everybody, reduce your burst gauge, and then on top of that, it says mode gauge reduction rate. So, I don't know. Is this the first time we're actually going to see something that affects the mode gauges? Or is she just going to give herself some? This is why I'm also going to the DMM side, because this still isn't all that clear, even though it is definitely a little bit more organized. We'll see further down here. Because now it flat out tells you what you need to get all of a certain reward. Like, for instance, you want all of the SSR stuff, you're going to need 50 Divine Souls and 55 Devil Souls. If you want all the gacha tickets, 140 Divine Souls, 82 Devil Souls. You want the 2 Dragonic Eye Shards, 200 Divine, 90 Devil. And then the Magic Jewels is 225 Divine and 95 Devil. That helps out a lot. That's pretty much the basic formula you need to know for these raid events. So keep that in mind. Now, what we're dealing with is 2 weapons. One of them's going to come with... Well, no, it's 1 weapon, actually. 1 SSR weapon. I don't know if there's a second one. We'll look at it later on. Like I said, DMM side. But this one's going to end up being an axe. So, if you don't have Herc's axe, well, now this gives you another chance to use Herc. But what this is going to end up doing is an Assault Defender mix, which is automatically making it worth it because Assault Defender is one of the best combos you can really get for weapons. And then on top of that, it's going to apply regeneration to the I don't know if it applies it to the whole team or to the soul itself. That's not clear right here, but it does do that upon burst, so that's something else to know. And the attack power is really good. It's actually 2300. So that's extremely powerful for a weapon, if you want to be honest. I might find a use for it. I don't fully know. But I do know that my light grid is more or less built, so I'm only replacing weapons if need be. And even if I don't use it, like I keep saying in a lot of videos, get the SSR anyways. Like, go out of your way to do that. Because, like I said, final breaks are a thing now. And it gets very expensive to start getting high skill levels raised up a little bit more. So, SSR says screw you to all that, because you can sit up and just get it to skill level 2 and it's guaranteed 100% no matter where you're at. So, again, if you don't want to use the SSR weapon, still get it anyways. It will be very, very good skill enhancement fodder. Same case goes for the new Dolans too, but we'll get to that later. Now, of course, the SR weapon that you want to aim for, if you're still needing it, is an assault one. So that's going to be a staff this time. But generally, you want to put SSR in your souls so their bursts do the most damage. And usually gets a bonus effect too. But the missions that you gotta clear for the extra raid gacha tickets, soloing Ragnarok with water. I'm already not doing that. Water's one of my weakest teams. Water might be my weakest team. If it isn't, Thunder is. But then there's soloing expert with rare Kamihime only. That's easily doable if you got enough grid power. So I can definitely show the rare solo. And speaking of Kamihime, these are the ones you can pull for. Which is a Samael, which I heard is actually a very, very powerful SSR. And Nunos, I don't know how to pronounce that, but she's a SR for Dark as well. And an array Kamihime who you might want to go for, I'll get into details about that later, is a Thunder healer type. So yeah, Thunder doesn't get too many healers. You're already going to want to get her. And then on top of that, the Dolan herself is pretty interesting, and that's on the DMM side, so I'm going to go right there. But yeah, same typical stuff like I said before, try to get the materials to go in through all this type of stuff. Now, the Dolan herself, she's going to give you enthusiasm when you call her out. And her effect, if you set her as a main, is like a smaller version of Hecatonshires, however you pronounce her name. So, if you max her out, it's going to end up being up to a 40% character attack increase, pretty much meaning assault, and 20% more HP. But her summon effect gives you enthusiasm for 3 turns, where each turn your burst gauge goes up by 5, at the cost of dealing some slight damage. It's very, very slight, honestly. Enthusiasm is always like that. But yeah, I forget the actual name for the Nutaku side, but this is a very nice thing to have. I have it on my Wind Ramiel, where she increases the amount of burst you get for that turn, those few turns, and then on top of that, gives you enthusiasm, where you get more bursts over at the cost of some HP over time. And it really is a very good combination. It's not too far-fetched to set her as a main. Mainly because of the HP increase if you need it. In my case, I don't, because I nearly double it already. But here's the other reason why you might need her. If you're using Monogarmer, or plan on using her a lot from support, you're going to need light Adolans. So you're probably going to want to keep her. I know I definitely will. In fact, I looked at the list and I'm kind of like a little bit torn on trying to get St. Nicholas, that's the one. I'm a little bit torn on trying to get St. Nicholas from the Adolan Orb Shop and trying to raise her up too. Because, like I said, if I get Monogarmer, Anubis also does this, by the way, gets more power based on matching element. So, in those cases, you might actually want to hold on to the white and the dark Adolans. you're not going to get too many of them unless you go pulling for them. Now, I've already covered the weapon. We'll eventually cover that other stuff. This is the other reason why I like going to this, because it has actual HP data and all that too. But what's going to happen too is the fact that standard, you can get hit with a lot of damage. Because 2500 is nothing to sneeze at. That's actually a nice chunk of damage. At least on that level of it. When you start getting stronger, you start seeing attacks do way more. But for standard, like those that can basically handle standard but not expert, that's going to deal a lot. And then on top of that, it looks like it's going to prevent damage up to 45,000. So it's going to add a barrier. So if I'm right, that's going to add a barrier off of that. You just got to watch his raging charge. The normal charge is going to be unlisted for now. I think they're going to have it further down. But yes, 750,000 for standard, 3.4 million for expert, and 10 million for Ragnarok. So there's all that right there. And they have it listed right here as well. But if you are going to try and get everything, you do need 250 Divine and 100 Devil Souls. So keep that in mind. You're going to have roughly 1/5 of the Divine and half of the Devil ones if you're just trying to get the SSR. Now, it doesn't have anything for standard. Ragnarok's usually the same as expert. But the actual data for your burst getting removed is going to be 20. So you would need a double attack to make that up. So it's not that bad, but it's still... You still just don't want to... And this says burst is less likely to accumulate. But that's still one thing you really want to be careful about. So... whichever one's worse to you is the one you gotta try to avoid. They're both pretty bad. We're starting to see a lot of enemies that's like that. But, anyways, here's the actual Dolan data right here. And her attack power is actually pretty up there. 1900 is not bad. She's got a decent amount of HP and a decent amount of attack power. So that's something to know about. It's pretty good. But, yeah, as par for the course, we're starting to see burst weapons as SR. So, yeah, for those that want to exceed, there you go. It's starting to become normal. Personally, I'd still go for the dual weapons, but hey, it's whatever you want to choose. Because that's the biggest misconception about this game, too, is the fact that, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's powerful, which is why I do these videos. But then it's still the person's choice if they want to do it. I wonder if that's Karuna. No, there we go. I don't know how to... Grelia? I don't know how to pronounce it on there. But anyways, this is the reason why you're going to want her. She comes out the gate with a heal. And she can get it increased to 1,000. So that's pretty good. And Thunder needs healers. You want to know the funny thing is, the very next tower is going to be water. Thunder's going to have the advantage. And then on top of that too is the fact that she can increase everybody's attack by quite a large amount. But it's just for one turn. So 35% attack increase is actually pretty potent. Save it for your burst though. Because that's the best time to have your buffs up, when you're about to burst. And then she can reduce an enemy's attack by 12%, and it looks like it also erases their own attack up. So it removes attack buffs and lowers their attack power. That's new. That's actually pretty interesting. I didn't know that. So it's going to erase attack buffs, but also lower their attack power even further in the A-frame. That said, it might actually be worth using her in this event At least all you Thunder mains out there. So that's something to keep in mind. Because this whole boss is about buffing. And then, whenever you use an ability, it seems like it will randomly cast an ally, a region. And I'm guessing it's going to be 2 or 3 turns. I don't know. But it definitely looks like it's going to end up being a useful thing too. So you might get an emergency heal out of nowhere. So she's actually pretty good. They call her SR, but I would honestly place her as a low SSR tier. Like, that's how good she actually is for that. If her healing was more powerful, she'd be an SSR in disguise. But that's still pretty good. Like, if her abilities are a little bit more powerful, except for the 1-turn attack buff, all that needs is a 2-turn instead of a 1, and it would be really good. But anyways, that's all for this. Now then. Oh, and I'm definitely getting her too. She's a freaking cat girl. I love animal girls a lot. But anyways, that's enough of this. Now, why I'm going to the website itself is the other half of this video. Oh, by the way, I've done the Taimon and crossover too. Very, very easy. And keep in mind, this advent's still running until Christmas, so if you haven't got everything, do it. But, this is the big part, and you've probably already seen it in the in-game news, but we all knew it was coming. And I made sure I was ready for this. Now, I don't know who's in the list this time, but I will go over it. But as you can see, first thing, Miracle Ticket. So I have to bid farewell to Diana if I don't see anything better. Because I'm going right after a specific Kamihime. I'm pretty sure she's here. But yeah, it's going to be 5,000 star coins, of course. And naturally, you're going to want it. Because you get a 10 draw, and then you get a ticket that lets you exchange for whoever you want. That's what, well, Kamihime-wise anyways. At least up until a certain point. Like, to really clarify, because there might be some new people looking at this, and this is like our 4th miracle ticket by now. When it comes to things, you can pick any non-limited Kamihime that's been introduced to the game up to this point. So the new ones that are going to come in this upcoming event, the dark ones, and that Thunder one is limited technically. You're not going to see them in this. What you are going to see is previous Kamihime that's not limited, like Sevarog, of course. You're going to see Artemis, SSR Artemis. You're going to see Bao Unleashed. We just got I forgot who that one was that came with the Tartarus event, but she's extremely powerful. And to be quite honest, this is taking a long time to load. But yeah. And boy, oh boy, I got a lot of these. But we're not going to go into Kamihime just yet. The Idolans I want to go through because I'm curious about if they really did it. Nah, they didn't put them in there, I'm sure. Yeah, it's still like before. If you happen to go for Idolans, because I highly doubt it because there's a lot of other Kamihime you can really pick for, go for the Kaisers. Like, don't pick anybody else's, go for the Kaisers. But you're more than likely going to go for the Kamihime, so here's a weapon set. And a lot of you should definitely know about the normal ones that are strong. Like, everybody on this first page is strong, especially if you can awaken them. And I can tell you that Ares is pretty strong, TYR depends. Michael's actually better than people give credit. I don't know about Shiva. I don't know too much about the water ones, unfortunately. She's powerful. She can be powerful. Mainly used for the stun. Powerful when you have to deal with bursts. Like Raging Gauge. Extremely powerful. She's an option, honestly. Poseidon, I think, is honestly underrated from what I've seen. I don't know too much about her kit, but I do know she gets an extremely powerful awakening later on down the line. But even now, I think she's actually a little bit underrated. Because I took a quick glance at her kit, and it's not too bad. Raphael, again, I think is underrated. I've used her a lot. She's helped me out a ton. And then on top of that, she's going to get an awakening where she'll be one of the first Kamihime to get 4 abilities, but that's going to be way later down the line. I know Raiko's a very good Thunder one. They're suggesting to use her for the upcoming event too. So Thunder mains, keep that in mind. All 4 of these are good. I'm tempted to get Nikkei, but I'm not going to let that happen. I know a certain somebody's in here. I don't know how good these ones are, but I've heard people are using Ryuo. Metatron's good if you want to burst team with light, which is a possibility. Brahma, I heard, was pretty good. Yamaraja is good. Cthulhu's very, very good. She's one of the higher rated water Kamihime right now. I don't know too much about Azazel, but I think she was pretty good. EA is very, very, very situational. Don't go for her. She's one of the cases where it's like, if you pull her. Osiris is very good for dark teams, especially since she's a healer. Jupiter is actually pretty good for a thunder team, especially if you need a raging killer. Uriel is one of the highest rated fire ones right now. Snow Raphael is very good. Hastor is part of the wind meta. Tsukiyomi is very good. Set, I don't know, but I think she's very good too. I've heard a few things about Set. I heard a few things about Arrows too. She can be good if you need a more defensive build. Nephthys, underrated, in my opinion. She's more for a stun nuke, but she can still hit pretty hard. Daki, again, I think is a little bit underrated. She's actually helped me out with the Wind Catastrophe fights pretty nicely because she gives it's a defensive buff, but it's defensive buff like Joan, but it's towards wind only. So if you're not fighting a wind enemy, that ability is useless. But she gives you rampaging, also ups your combo rate while giving you a drain effect, so you can multi-hit for a lot of HP recovery while doing practically double damage. So that's something to know about. Sarasvati is like EA, she's kind of situational. But if you got EA and Sarasvati, you got a pretty nice water burst setup right there. Because they're very good for that. Marduk, I don't know how strong she actually is, so I can't really say anything about that. Mars is definitely very powerful for fire. Vishnu, I've been using her. She's very nice if she cannot get hit. The minute she gets hit, she'll start losing her buffs. All of them. Even from other characters. That is a huge drawback. Use her wisely. But if you do, she can pay off quite a bit. Cybele, extremely powerful. Get her. Shamas, she's okay for light tanking, but not something you really go out of your way for. Thanatos, she's very good for dark, but she'll lose her touch later on because there's definitely going to be better dark girls, especially when Amon gets her upgrades. When Amon gets her upgrade, she'll override Thanatos very quickly. I haven't heard too much about her, but I think she's a decent one. I haven't heard much about Athena either, but I do know she's a good one. Atom, I haven't used her too much. She can be good, but she's easily overpowered by Soul. But the one thing she has over Soul, the one thing she has over every single freaking healer in the game, including Andromeda in them, she auto-revives. She's the only source of auto-revive. Keep that in mind. Because I've used it in the tower. Somebody got killed off by a hit, but they just stayed up because the auto-revive kicked in. If the fight's long enough, you can get auto-revive on the entire team, but good luck with that. And then she also can remove 1-turn cooldown from abilities by the looks of things too, but I haven't fully used her out too much. She's actually a little bit underrated if you can use her correctly. Pluto, one of the best start characters, go for her. Beelzebub, haven't got around to using her, but I already know from her kit, she's one of the situational types where it's like you have to use her the correct way. because if you don't, you're going to end up debuffing yourself and getting hit pretty hard. She's like the other version of herself from SR, but on steroids. And then there's Mammon. She's a very good Thunder one. I know that for a fact. Frey can be good, but it depends. Neptune is very, very good for water. I know that for a fact. I'm not too sure about Ra. If I don't find anybody better, I'm getting Artemis. Chernobog is extremely good. Arya Nod. I don't know too much about that one. Unfortunately, I can't say anything about that. Bal and Unleash is strong for Thunder. Prometheus, I haven't known too much about that one either, unfortunately. Barif can be good from what I know. And then Aether is the one I was trying to think about. She is extremely strong for wind. So yeah, that's something to know. But anyways, I've already got the star coins, as you can see. Without further ado, I'm going to be pulling on this. We'll see if I get anybody else. Like I said, I don't know what will happen. I could pull SSR Artemis out of this if you want to be honest. And something else you should know about too. Tan Skin Gacha includes Anubis, if you want to go for that. And then this one's got the gacha ticket for the Dragonic Eye weapons, which I'm going to start calling them now. Those Dragonic Eye weapons can be very, very powerful. It's worth thinking about getting these. And then there's nothing else really special. Except for if you go to the Magic Jewels, you'll see the Tan Skin one there for some reason. So take advantage of that. You have an up to rate Anubis just with Magic Jewels. Now, the interesting thing they've done about this is the fact that you will no longer see a rainbow door unless it's a guaranteed SSR. So if I did get an SSR, we might see a gold orbit get upgraded. I've got one basic pool. Jeez. I'm glad I got the ticket. But we'll see if there's an upgrade. Yeah, funny thing is, there's Beelzebub's weapon if you got the SR version. I just mentioned that. Okay, I never had you. Sati. Are you a white one? Yeah, you got somebody new. Yeah, she's a light one. Christ, I'm getting so many white Kamihime. This weapon, I'm just curious. See, this is a stinger weapon. See, some of the SRs are starting to show some different stuff. That's interesting. I'm not going to keep it, but that's interesting. Now, the question is, did the ticket come to me automatically, or do I got to go to my mail? Oh boy, this long loading. That's the other thing too, because it's like trying to load up a huge list. I think that's why it takes a while. But oh boy. Maybe I should have pulled first so we didn't have to go through this twice. I don't know. But while we're waiting, let me mention, Miracle Ticket is definitely hands down the very best gacha. If you are going to throw money at this game, this is the one time you absolutely should. Because you have no random pulls or anything to have to worry about if you're aiming for one and one Kamihime alone. After that is where you might end up getting extra from the 10. Like, I got an extra Kamihime just now, so you never know. You might pull the one you want just from that attempt, and then you might have to use a ticket on something else. And then, like I said, if you really picked all your Kamihime, there's this over here. Go for the Kaisers. Don't go for anybody else. Now, I'm going to have to jump quite a bit. And it does look like they automatically give it to you because the exchange button's lit up. I'm kind of tempted to go pick Nikkei, but I'm not going to. Because I'm not going to invest that much in my water team, and then my light team is already good to go. I just want that one final spot so I can just start destroying crap without a care in the world. So, you are not going to avoid me, Artemis. I now have you. I even have an SSR accessory I want to put on her, too. So, that's one last thing I'm going to go over, because I don't know how many people know about this. But you'll see it when I go to the accessory page. And the other reason why I go after this gun and see what it does is because of the fact that I don't know if it's going to be a dual weapon. If it is, that greatly helps. If it isn't, I'm foddering in that. It will just be something to help buff up my fire team, because I'm also working on them too. But my light one, I want full focus so I can just demolish crap. You always want your first element where you start really building up power to be at its strongest. Oh wait, I'm doing the wrong thing. I don't need to be there. I need to be here. But yeah, if you want to view your Kamihime and whatnot, this is the perfect page to do that. But let's see, weapon. Yeah, and I'm amazed. This has a higher total power. This too, more than a final break weapon. What the crap? But one thing to know is that when they finally get final break to this, and eventually this, oh boy, am I prepared. Anyways, newest. Yeah, I got these from the one thing. I'm not even sure if I'm going to use all of those, because I might get one or two. I might keep the because I'm not going to have the final break for a bow, but I will have it for the axe. Oh, ew. I might have to sacrifice some defender. That's very hard to come by. And it's not going to be that much of an increase when you increase it to skill level 20. Because I think it's only like maybe 1%. But even then, I don't know. Part of me wants to, but part of me doesn't. You know what? I'll unlock it for now and figure it out later. But anyways, here's a reason why I went after Artemis. It says about elements, so I think light's going to be in the back. Yeah. Before we get to Artemis, oh, she was on that page. Whoops. Before we get to Artemis, we're going to get to the other one. I have no clue what Sadi does. And it might be something to really pay attention to. 6 times light damage on a dark enemy? She's like Tsukiyomi. And it guarantees 1 crit. Oh my goodness. Her crit rate's even up higher. Oh my goodness. Yes, she's situational, but I swear, the one nuke, if I'm facing a dark enemy, I just might have to break her out just to see what she does. That looks interesting. That looks very interesting. Is it good? To be quite honest, it's not in most situations, but it's definitely interesting when you face a dark enemy. She really hates darkness. To be able to do 6 times damage, that's more than a burst. And then on top of that, get critical on it. Oh my goodness. But anyways, Artemis. She's got the defense down. A better one than what Diana has right now. And then on top of that, I think this self-buffs her. Light attack, crit rate, ability damage, which is only going to make this even more potent. Oh, and she can do it twice. Like, all her abilities got 6 turns cooldown. That's actually pretty fast in this type of game. 6 turns is actually pretty fast. 6 and 5. There's a few Kamihime that can do it every 3 if you get them powered up enough. But yeah, I'm going to end up putting these accessories on. So I got to go to my party. Because this is the last thing I'm going to show. It's an interesting little thing I've noticed about the accessories. Oh wait, I could have put that SSR one on her. Oops. Because she's going to nuke pretty hard with that ability. Why not give her the ability damage thing I got? But, since I'm now stripping Diana of her stuff. That sounds kind of wrong. But anyways. Now that I'm taking this off of her. These accessories. Now, here's an interesting thing I noticed about the accessories. Pay very close attention to my gem count. 282, 257. And I don't know if this does it with SSR. I think it does also do it with SSR. But remember, 282, 257. It's still 282, 257. SR and SSR accessories were supposed to take some gems when you remove them. I don't know how long it's been in the game, but I haven't heard too much about this. That said, you should be able to remove accessories without having to spend anything. Because I'm still at that same number. So, keep that in mind. Oh, and that's the one I was talking about. I even leveled it a bit. But anyways, that's all for this video, guys. I'm gonna start trying to get Artemis up and running. Cause oh boy, am I gonna enjoy this. But anyways, that's all for this video. I'm gonna have more of it pretty soon. Because it's gonna end up being the new event, and I do want Yule Goat and the new SR Kami, which everybody should be getting. But anyways, that's all for this video, guys. Take care.